So, hey everyone, how you going? Normally, I make points for when I do a video, just so I think about what I'm going to talk about. And all I wrote was just 1 year. And this is both a how you going, Red Rose? Good to see you here. I might not chat back and forth in the chat for a while because I'll probably be talking, but um, yeah, this is for me. This is a big thing. It's like a 1 year anniversary of a life crisis I went through, and I've spoken a lot about this in my talks. So I don't have to revisit everything, but I'd like to talk about what I've gone through in this last year to get to where I am now. And it's just all day today, I've just had all these thoughts of the whole year, and I'm amazed. I'm amazed that I've got here and I'm here now speaking live, and I've got good news, like I've got good news. Even though I talk about horrible things and pain and trauma, I often mix that in with all the positive things that are happening as well. So, um, like I said, I've got no real plan for the talk, so I don't know where I'll start, where I'll go to, but basically, the essence of it is it's today is 1 year since I went through, the one of the worst days of my life, and it all relates to um, I was I was not well, and I'd been re-traumatized and been stuck in a re-traumatized state for quite some period of time, and it built up and built up. There was all these positive things. So in in the years previous leading up to that, I did process most of my traumas in those few years leading up to it, and then um, I made some amazing art. For me, I did it all for me. And um, I um, I learned to play guitar in a way that I'd never been able to play before. Like I've been playing guitar since I was a teenager, and I only really started taking it seriously in a certain way in was 2022, and um, and then I started playing guitar every day, and sometimes it was a couple of hours a day, which was amazing. It was, and that's why I've pointed to the guitars. I'll get back to playing guitar sometime. You know, that's going to happen. I had fear in the last few months that I'd never play guitar again, and that was very painful for me because I felt like something that I had been part of me, I would never be able to go back to. So I had to go through that, not not focusing on the fact that I may or may not get back to playing guitar. And I faced that fact, and it was liberating for me to actually do that because I was able to um, appreciate the times that I had played daily and it became part of me. And so I was able to let go of the fact that I may never play again. So now I know that's not going to happen. I will get back into playing guitar. So I'm not even putting a time frame on it. Um, and like I showed in a couple of streams back, all of a sudden I realized, why not play flute, because I used to play flute, and I haven't started that yet, but that's on the cards. And I really look forward to that, because it will be part of my daily practice, will be to and if it's not daily, it will be an ongoing thing. So um, not only have I processed most of my traumas in a way, and they've all been done in different ways, and I still have pain from a lot of them, but it's different pain. I've let go of it, and I know now that it has worked for most of it. And because I'm very fortunate that um, in this last year, since I went through a life crisis, it's been an amazing journey, and it's been a very painful journey. And there's been a lot of times where I was stuck and nothing was happening, and I felt like there was no hope. And and that's where I was, you know, writing poetry and things like that was the things that got me through. And I have talked about all this stuff in many previous streams, but this today is the 1 year anniversary of my collapse of everything, and so it's important for me to reflect and recapitulate on where I went wrong, and also have an optimism towards the future, because it's amazing how much just in the last few months what I've been able to um, accomplish has enabled me to get to this point now, which means that I am optimistic, and it is amazing. So I'm reading the Body Keeps the Score right now. I only got 100 pages left, and it's like I'm reading the perfect book at the perfect time. And I'm at a point where I'm reflecting on what I've been doing in my own self healing, and reading about how um, new techniques have been used, and the different techniques, and how they work, and that's been amazing. I can't wait to read the next chapter tonight. You know, um, it's just one part of my daily practice at the moment. It's limited. I'm limited to only able to do so much in a particular day. So I'll tell you about what happened today. I got a filling. How you going, Happy Hermit? Good to see you here, mate. I got a feeling done today, and that was really good. So I have no more fillings to get done in my teeth. Um, and that was an experience too, because last year when I was in the lead, building up to the lead up to my crisis, what happened was is I'd had um, uh, both lower wisdom teeth were infected, and I was living with severe pain, but I was also living with emotional pain at the same time. So I was just living with it. I was bearing with it until it got to the point where I was frantic, essentially. Like I was in so much pain. You know, my sisters rushed me to. We found a dentist, and they rushed me to a dentist, and I had um, both wisdom teeth taken out. And this dentist, um, it was right at the end of the day, and she stayed there after work to help me be- because I was in so much pain, and that was an experience. And so today, seeing the dentist and getting the final filling filled, now my teeth are um, reasonably healthy. It's another part of this reflection of this year, because all these things have gone on, and there's been so much time spent where I've been worried and lost, and I've still maintained some form of pushing on and moving on and keeping going. And it's been quite an amazing thing for me, because this because there were so many things going on that I had to deal with, and I'd already processed a whole bunch of traumas in the previous few years. I was able to slowly gather a sense of self and sense of purpose, regather that, because that was lost. So a big thing that I was going through in that year before the crisis was I was living in a state of very heightened. Um, it's hard to describe, but every day was I was present, but I was also not in my own body, if that makes sense. Like, and I was, um, it's like these things occurred over a few years and got to a point, and then I ended up in hospital for a few weeks, and then I had to go through several months of agony being on medication, and then after that, the recovery from the medication, and then also dealing with all of these other things going on. And that was what I've spoken about, where I spent around 6 months where I lay in this bed here, and sometimes I would be, um, all I could do was, I was taught grounding techniques, and sometimes I'd be lying in my bed practicing the grounding techniques, and I was calling helplines, crisis lines, to talk to people, and that really helped me. That really helped me. I spoke to several different helplines and at different times, and I got so much help from being able to just speak to someone. And then I finally started. There was a period from after the crisis to earlier in this year when that's when my traumas started revisiting me that I thought I'd processed, and um, I got overwhelmed by all of it. And so then I that's when I started the actual formal healing journey that I'm on now. Is that I really started researching as much as I could. I started. I kept regular contact with a trauma counselor as well as seeing a psychologist. But the trauma counselors have s- done amazing things for me, and um, they've allowed me to get to be where I am today. There's so much amazing. I've got so much good news. I also have all of all of all of these things have just happened, and it's been a it's been a ride. Oh, sorry, it's been a wild ride. I got the two words mixed up. And to say it like it's been a wild ride is strange because most of the time has been spent being in isolation and in solitude, and there was a long time where I was bedridden and um, barely functioning, and it was very lucky that I had a purpose to be there for my family, and and that has been something that really helped me to um, maintain some form of stability through all the chaos. So I was able to. But the problem was is that these were very serious other situations that I was dealing with, and I was dealing with my own recovery from the crisis, the hospital, the medication, and then the withdrawal from the medication, and then the starting of the focused healing. But the thing is, I'd already spent years on this. So all that time I'd spent in the past wasn't wasted. It's unfortunate that what happened was that 1 year ago today, I um, went through a life crisis, and it's 1 year, and I look back at what has happened in this 1 year, and I am amazed at what I've achieved, even though most of the time I've been incapacitated, and I'm so grateful and fortunate to be right here, right now, right here, right now, being able to express what I've gone through and what I've grown out of, and that. So I had support. I had family support, feeding me food and shelter. I had government support. I had all these helplines that were there for me. I had the internet of not all the knowledge on the internet when I started really delving deep into really working out what I needed to do to heal. The internet was there, and that's that's been an amazing thing for me because I went from going through the process of all of these difficult scenarios, and then when the time was right for me to start to focus on the things I needed to focus on, they were there for me. It was all there. And that goes the same for this, for when I started doing live streams, because um, it was at a point when I had been so disillusioned and disheartened, sad, lonely. I thought, why not just reach out to the internet and speak? And that has been an amazing thing for me. I've found friends, and we enjoy each other's company, and that has been amazing and means a lot to me, and it on top of all of the benefits of that, it also gives me something to do. So the fact that I'm documenting my own self-healing, because most of it is self-healing. I'm getting help through therapists and helplines and trauma counselors. Um, but I have to read the books, and I'm doing that work. I have to, and so it is. I'm overwhelmed. So 1 year ago, I was in life crisis, and right now I'm here, and this is such an amazing thing. You know, I just noticed I was slouching. I've got to get my posture better. So having this ability to just sit here right now in front of a camera and just speak and talk is amazing therapy for me. But it's more than therapy. I'm actually um, by doing what I'm doing, I'm creating a positive, self-affirming, and also it's keeping me in check. So it's self-correcting, or I can't think of the word, but it's it's creating a discipline and a practice and a habit, and that's been a great thing for me. And I only just started this 2.5 months ago. And I look back at what I've gone through in that time, and what I've achieved has been amazing. So when I look through this year, over this month by month, I thought about writing down each month and breaking it down, but then I thought, no, look, I'll just talk, because I'm so grateful for everyone people that get something out of watching my videos, because they're seeing someone else who's going through their own self-healing and self-discovery, because it's all of those things, like I've gone from thinking there's no future to now I'm creating my own future. And this happened over a period of time. And I had to go, it's like a classic tale, I had to go through the trauma of the crisis, and then I ended up in hospital for 2 weeks, and then I was forced to take medication because it was um, I there was risk that I was going to cause harm to myself. And I then went through the process of recovery to the point where I could state my case and prove that I didn't need to be medicated, and I was able to get off the medication. And that those 3 or 4 months of being on the medication, it was 4 months roughly. It was 4 to 5 months. That was very painful. And then I went through the withdrawals from it, which was very painful. And then I had the extended withdrawal, which was lack of motivation, um, blunted affect, or emotions and feelings being affected. And so my motivation was gone, and I built my motivation up bit by bit. I'm still nowhere near where I need to be. So I've got to, for me to just jump out of bed in the morning and be active, that's that's those times are going to be in the future. But for now, it's actually managing in a very patient, pragmatic way, dealing with all of these things. And so I have taken, excuse me, I've got hiccups, burps. I have taken on a lot, and accountability, that's the word I was thinking of earlier. By doing these live streams and documenting my progress, there is a degree of accountability that I feel I need to uphold. I can't just say I'm healing myself and then fail and give up. I have to keep going because I actually am healing, and I've had the results from it. But I know that I'm so far, I know that there's still a long period of time to get back to where I was highly functioning. And but the beauty of this is that now, having gone through all of these difficult times, and while all of these personal difficult times were happening, I had my own external crisis that was going on, that was to do with family, and that has been my main focus. And like I said, that was one of the things that actually helped me maintain hope, was that even though I was incapacitated for so long, I had something that knew I had to do, even though it was so difficult to actually just get out of bed and function. It's like it it gave me the clarity and the opportunity to take seriously what I need to do to really heal. And so I'm amazed. I'm still amazed at how much has changed, how much I've achieved. Okay, so I published this poetry book, you know, at the start of the year, and half the poems I'd written in the previous year, and half the poems I'd written while I was still on the medication, and some of them are about the pain. Um, you know, I might even read some of these. um, that was an achievement. So I was going through a personal hell, and I was writing this poetry, but then I typed it up on the computer, and then I sent it off to a printing shop, you know, and they printed up 25 books or whatever it was, and I gave them away to people. And I have one left. I mean, I've got this copy, but I've got one more copy, and that was an achievement. And um, and I wrote lots and lots of poetry in this last year, and um, it's been so healing for me to do that. And last week I did a poetry stream where I sat here for 4 hours writing poetry in this book, and people watched me writing poetry, and then I read it out as I wrote the poem. That was such a healing thing for me, and such an amazing experience to do that. Um, I've I like I really have made such progress, and I'm very realistic about this. I'm still only a little bit along the way. I know I've got to go a long way to go. But because I've gotten to here, I know I can keep going and get further and further. And that things like playing, guitars, like you see guitars in the background, I know that will come back in the future. Um, so my day to day at the moment is still very slow, and I have insomnia still. Like I am getting sleep, but I'm not getting proper sleep. And I know that it's not good for you, and that I need to, but I also accept that it'll happen when it happens, and it's actually starting to happen. So I am waking up earlier, and it also happens to be positive that me being awake in the middle of the night is beneficial for my caring role for my mother, so that I'm able to spend. I can get up whenever she gets up. I can be there for her. So for the time being, I'm happy to be having this insomnia, because it's actually beneficial for also for my father, because then he doesn't have to be awake at that time as well. So I'm happy for this to be the way it is for a while, because I'm still getting enough sleep. But I'm achieving so much. Like, so much has happened in the last few months. It's amazing. I've I finished. I did a mindfulness course, which I I happen to have money in my bank account, and I'd been researching mindfulness through trauma healing, and I paid the money and I did the course, and I just completed the course this week, and that is so amazing. You know, I had no idea that was going to happen, and it did, and I'm getting so much benefit from it, and it's something that's going to be part of my life for the rest of my life, is being mindful and present, and it'll become a job. Hopefully this will become my career, that I teach people in my city mindfulness. And this is amazing. It's like these things just happen out of the worst. Going from 1 year ago, from being in the worst possible scenario to now having optimism, and not false optimism. It's like I know it's going to be a hard road. I know there's going to be failures and setbacks. That's okay, but I do see the potential for that future, and I'm going to work towards that future. And I'm learning. I'm getting back to doing things. So I've gone from 6 months ago being bedridden to now I'm doing regular live stream chats with a small community of um, survivors and sufferers and survivors and people who we connect, and um, we get to share a friendly environment. And that, for me, for someone, because I became so isolated and I self-isolated, this has been such an amazing growth uh, um, um, opportunity for me. I like, because it's hard for me to talk at the moment because this is 1 year, and I've had all day. I've had all these thoughts of this whole year. I've been going through the year, and I'm just amazed at how I've gone from where I was to where I am now. And you know, there was I guess I I didn't give up. That was one thing. Um, I felt like I'd given up. So when I was in that bedridden state, I was whole weeks went by. Like, it's not like I was completely bedridden. I was still getting up and doing things, but for most of the day, that's all I could do. And then slowly I broke out of that. And as I was breaking out of that, I was focusing on really learning to heal. And as I was doing that, I was getting results back from it. So it kept encouraging me to keep going with what I was doing. And then it didn't stop my life being chaotic, and it still is chaotic. So but at the same time, it's very calm, and I'm in the perfect place for healing right now, where I don't have too many responsibilities. I'm being supported, and I can reach out whenever I need to people that will be there for me. And I think that was one of the main things. Was I knew that I was able to start to really let go of everything. So I'd spent several years going through a forgiving, letting go process. And I've talked about this before, but like, I went through many ways. And again, this is from what I'm learning about in reading um, Pete Walker's book and Bessel van der Kolk's book, is that there are so many ways, and they don't all work for you. So you got to try them out And so I'm just very lucky that I did a lot of this work alone, and it meant that I had to go through additional pain because I didn't know what I was doing. I was basically trying to work out how to let go. And that's what's amazed me in reading these books is when you read about all the processes and formal practices that yes, like I'll be reading, I'll be like, oh, I actually did that, and then wow, I wish I did that, and then I go, oh wow, this was similar to what I was doing, but I didn't do it the same way they did because I didn't have a specialist team behind going through this process. But essentially, the underlying things that I did myself enabled me to go through that process of letting go. And so I'm here now, and you know, I have this amazing opportunity now where I can see the future. I can see where I want to be and I can see what I need to get there. And I know it's going to take years, but the beauty of it is that everything I do along the way is just going to be enjoyable. So, you know, I got to do, and I got to join in on a course in nonviolent communication, and that's something that happened recently. So I'm learning how to speak better, and this is another life changing thing, just like the mindfulness. I'm so grateful that I was offered this chance to do a course for free to really learn how to speak in an empathic, compassionate way and solve problems through being able to speak better. And this is going to help me with my triggers as well, because I will be able to um, prevent myself getting into social situations where I will have triggers. It's amazing, and this all this just happened. It one thing happened after the other, and it got to this point. Um, at the at the start of the year, I can't remember which month it was. I think it was March, but I did manage to get up and read one of my poems on stage at the poetry night that I used to go to, and will go back to. I'll go back there again, and that was amazing. And I got to read a poem. It's on my YouTube. It's a pretty heavy one um, in my poetry playlist, but it's um, that poem I wrote about. I wrote that poem before I went into hospital. Like the day before I went into hospital, I had finished the poem, or the day of that, actually. Maybe I think it was the same day that I'd completed the poem, and it was about what I'd gone through. And then I think 4 months later, I read that poem on stage at this poetry night. And I felt self conscious because it was a pretty heavy, dark, it wasn't overly dark, but it was a heavy poem, and because it was about going through trauma, and and um, but it was in an environment where the beauty of these poetry nights is people get to share, their pain and their passion. So it's not like it was not welcomed for me to actually say this poem. I still felt self-conscious afterwards. Um, so that's an accomplishment. I did this book in this last 12 months. I've written all these poems. I've made videos for YouTube. That's been my art. I've processed pretty much all of the major traumas now. And so I'm still going to have pain and sadness associated with the fact that, this has affected me my whole life, but I'm so happy. In my heart, I can feel a calmness. It's at peace. And that's something that I'm really happy about, you know, um, to be able to get to that point. And the next thing for me will be to get reinvigorated. Here's an example. Notice the difference there? I was sitting all slumped like this. As soon as I change my posture a little bit, you notice that. And so moving forward, it's going to be slow because I'm doing so much and I'm trying to do so much. So I've got once a week, I do this nonviolent communication course. I'm doing a first aid course next month. And then I'm doing a course in working with people with disabilities. And then there's 2 other courses, short courses that I need to do so I can start a business, so I can teach mindfulness and do nature therapy. Because I know when I go for a walk in nature, I go watch the sunset, I get so much healing from that. And so I can be someone that takes people on those experiences. And I'm honored if that is what I get to do for the rest of my life. That will be the best thing. I will feel like I've found my place in the world. And because I know it's worked for me, I know it's worked for me, and I know that because it's worked for me, it will work for others. And that's a major thing. So, and all of this happened. It's amazing. I'm amazed by this because it just, I kept, I don't know how many poems I've written this year, but it might be like 200 poems. I don't think it's that many, but it's over 100. Well, easily, because I've written like 100 haiku. They were easier because haiku you can write quickly. But see, of those 100 haiku I wrote, only 50 of them make it I would want to share. So I shouldn't count the fact that I wrote 100 haiku. I should only count the ones that I want to retain. But yeah, so I'm looking back at this year and the things that I've done. I've got this book printed, and I did get up on stage after I'd gone through being in hospital and got off the medication. I got up on stage and read a poem. I got back into making YouTube videos, and I've made um, some sunset and sunrise videos, and I'm doing these live streams, and these have been amazing because we've had these amazing conversations, and it's allowed me to let out all this stuff, so I think it's a combination of all of this stuff that's allowed me to get to here and now, and to actually be ready for the next phase in my life. And I'm really excited for that, you know. And it I'm still a little bit shocked because today is that 1 year, you know. It's 1 year today, and I'm also elated and amazed at what I've achieved in that time. And even though so much of it was spent lying down on a bed, the rest of the time I was achieving these things, and major. So, um, my last psychologist appointment, I processed two major traumas, which I'm still now sort of tender with because they were painful ones, but they were the last of the big ones. So I'm I can't express how good it is to feel that there's been this ability to move on and let go. And that's what I found in reading Body Keeps a Score, which is what I'm reading at the moment. And it's amazing reading this book and then just going, wow, that's it. It's when it actually works, you know, and it can be all different ways for different people, and I mean, I see there's comments, and I might start reading the comments in a minute, but like I just want to keep talking for a while. Um, I'm gonna keep doing this stuff. I'm gonna I I made a goal to make a once a week make a sunset video or a sunrise video, and the last 3 weeks I haven't done anything, but that's understandable because I'll, I'll get back to that, you know, and I look forward to that, and it will become part of my weekly routine is to go see the sunset at least 2 times a week, go bushwalking, and keep writing poetry, get back into guitar, start playing flute again. Um, I can't wait for all that stuff. I know that it's possible now. Those barriers. I've started reading books again, like, and even if it's on a phone, like, how good is it? Like, I avoided ebooks for so long, and I'm enjoying reading ebooks. The only downside is it's not good for your eyes, because the flickering light of this. Um, but I'll balance that out with reading real books. But that's another major thing, is getting back into reading. You know, I'm trying to think of what other achievements. Because I have basically, essentially, I did play guitar for a few weeks. I started playing it again a few months ago, and I played it for a few weeks, and then I couldn't play it anymore. And um, it was very painful for me, because I felt like that I'd lost coordination, not just from not being able to play, not playing, but I felt that it was because of the medication that I was on, and I feared that it would affect me forever. But I know now that it's it's worn off, so that I will get back to playing guitar. It's an emotional connection that I can't do yet. But while I'm not playing guitar, I'm writing poetry. You know, I'm um, I'm starting courses. I'm doing all this stuff. It's amazing. Like, how good is this? Like, I've got a future. I didn't think I had no idea, if a year ago to now, I had no idea I'd be sitting here in front of my computer talking to people on the internet and telling them how amazing I feel for achieving these goals. And they weren't goals I necessarily set for myself. They just happened, you know. Um, I ended up with enough poems, and I thought, I'm going to print this out and give it out to people, and I did that. So, and then I got all this amazing feedback from everyone, and and then I've got to share my poetry on here, regularly. When I do a stream, I'll often read a poem that I've just written, and um, there was that night a, a while back where I read through a whole bunch of poems that I'd written through this year, the really painful and optimistic ones. That was the most amazing healing thing. To be able to do that was amazing. So I'll go back and find that video, and I'll timestamp all the poems, so that and then I'll so that people, if they want to just listen to the poems, they can just click through the poems and not have to hear the live stream chat, me talking away for hours. They just get to hear the poems. Um, you know, I'm I've got support, which is a big thing. So because um, because of my caring role, I have this support network through government agencies, and that's how I'm getting this amazing opportunities to study courses for free. It's amazing. All of this happened at the right time, and like, in 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 a year's in 1 year from today, I'll do a live stream, and I'll get to tell you about what I've done in the last year. How good's that? By then, I'll hopefully be taking people to go watch the sunset and teaching people mindfulness and helping people through their complex trauma themselves. I'm so honored to actually be in this position where I can actually do that stuff. So, how good is that? In a year's time, I'm going to sit here, and well, it won't be here. It'll be over there, or it'll be somewhere else. It might be here. But I'll be able to I'll obviously talk about the difficulties. I'll say, oh, there was all these difficulties, but then there will be amazing amount of achievements, and I think these achievements are just happening bit by bit, and I'm not trying. I do feel like I'm trying to do too much, but I'm not. I've got all this stuff going on, but at the same time, I've got all this time, so I'm able to process these things. So, um, the fact that I've finally gotten through processing all of these traumas bit by bit, and mostly on my own. Sometimes it was through therapists, counselors, psychologists, but I had no specialist techniques. And that, like in Body Keeps the Score, he talks about neurofeedback, um, creating structures where they set up a room to recreate the scenario so that you can rearrange it. Powerful stuff. I can totally see how this works. Um, you know, um, the mindfulness has been a big thing for me. I get to do whenever, like, I can do every day. I can go and do forgiveness and work through difficulties using mindfulness exercises, just over and over. Each time it can be a different thing. It's amazing. So I can't wait to actually teach people these techniques so they can just do it themselves. You know, um, I haven't. I used to play guitar. Yeah, I'll get back into guitar. I used to. Um, I used to do a lot of things. I used to sing. I never. I only ever recorded a few songs where I sang songs, but I'll get back into that, and it might be chanting because um, chanting and humming, like I learned how to do Tibetan style chanting just on my own, and that might be something I get right into, and I'm interested in that because that is similar to neurofeedback therapy. Is that through the chanting you're balancing out your brain, you know. So I've been talking for a while, and I'm excited, you know. Like, it's been a year, and it's been a tough year. I'm trying to think of a poem to read out of this book I made. I might read a couple of poems, just selected poems from it. So this one's called Episteme, which means empirical or very, intellectually um, assured knowledge. Um, so it's another way of saying truth, or something that's agreed that this is. And this poem I wrote when I was on the medication and I could barely see properly. My vision was really disrupted. Watching ants, the swaying grass seed stalks, hearing what is above and all around. Feel the breeze. It is there for you. Hope comes from inconsequential things. Actually, I'll read this one again. I've read this one in a live stream before. And I've done a whole talk on it. And it's become the name for what I want to do, my nature therapy. So I call this proverb. It's a proverb. What is a falling leaf? It is not where it was. The nature of a falling leaf is to become something else. Nature has all possibilities, each something new. The falling leaf still falls. The leaf never lost its purpose. The falling leaf. Here's one to read. This one are called words. Words have means to rule our lives. In providence, true meaning hides. A cast of actors, each with their lines. Forgotten lines, pause the play no one saw. This is a good one, beginning. I'm all about like starting again, beginning. Today is the start, not the beginning. A return to the heart, calling by an off-tempo beating. And this was another one that I wrote when I was on the medication, and the medication was actually causing me an irregular heartbeat and low blood pressure. I'd fainted on it. And so this was me trying to get back and keep going, and the off-tempo beating was actually me talking about my heart rate was off, because it literally was off. This one's called Drifter. You linger in the past, journey to the future, waste all the time you want. Nothing carries you further than the determination of a drifter. I won't read any more from, but that, like that was an achievement from this year. And I did write enough haiku to make another book like this. So I've got like 55 or 54 haiku, enough to make a little book. So I'll do that. I've already like typed them up months ago, and so that'll be something I can do now. Another thing, get that one printed. I've had so much like joy being able to read my poetry on these live streams, and I get so much awesomeness from people responding to me. So it's awesome. I might start reading some of the comments. Happy Hermit says hello. I hope you're still here. Happy Hermit. You're a legend. It's good, always good to speak to you. Megan Cardenas says, I'm awake in BC. I watched a movie that triggered some traumatic events, closed my eyes, and the tears started rolling. I was left in the thought that I still need to release what I'm holding on to. That's that it does that, doesn't it, Megan? Like movies are such a powerful thing that they will bring triggers, and that's probably why I don't watch many movies nowadays. I but it can be therapeutic to actually, but the and that's what in Body Keeps a Score and or Bessel talks about is they use movies as examples for people to explain what it's like when you dissociate or get triggered and go through a traumatic event and or have executive dysfunction. um, Movies can be such a therapeutic thing, but they can also trigger you so much. So I hear what you're saying, Megan. Like reading Body Keeps the Score has been triggering because it, you know, similar events, you know, had happened to me, and I had, but that it was such a to be able to see it, read it, and know that other people have gone through this. It had a therapeutic effect, even though it was triggering. But it's painful, and that's movies do the same thing because movie makers are amazing at, especially really good filmmakers. They portray the mind and experience in a realistic way and in an authentic way, and that makes it difficult. And this is the funny thing with that, is that people who haven't gone through trauma can watch a traumatic film and not get triggered like that. They might see the pain in it, but they don't relive. It doesn't take them back to that because they haven't actually gone through it themselves. So I think there is a therapeutic aspect for both exposing people to difficulty through movies, and also it goes the other way where it can be too painful to watch. And so I've done that myself, where I've had to turn the movie off. It's too much, too painful, can't watch anymore. I totally get what you're saying. Matthew says, congratulations. You're wonderful, beautiful. Love to hear you are self-caring and so clearly passionate and sharing love with others. Thank you, Matthew. Matthew continues, I'm recovering from CPTSD as well. Dark night of the soul. I love that you found your path in life. Thank you, Matthew. That's what's helped me. That's good. It's great to hear that you found. That's what it is. Hey, like finding your path in life can be the thing, and it allows you to just, because you know that you the the memories will be there, but if you can let go, you're not going. And if you can avoid being in those re-traumatizing situations and do something that is your path in life, it's a whole new thing. It's like your life starts again. It's amazing, isn't it? It's like that's the healing that right there, is that it opens up opportunity to live again. You know, that's such an amazing thing, and I'm so glad to hear that you're doing well and that you've gone through. You're still, you're still, but you're still recovering, but you've been through the worst bits, and now things are getting better, and you've got a purpose and a path in life. Megan's got the heart there. One thing I'm trying to do is I used to read out all the emojis. I'm going to stop reading the emojis as much. But like Megan's got the heart there. Glenn Olson says, books, I love it. Yes, books, getting back into reading is such a big thing, I've now got, like, I just bought an ebook. Yeah, I just bought another ebook. So I was just going to look up how many I've got now. 7 or 8. And it doesn't really matter. I don't like being distracted by phone when I'm in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I've got 12 books on my phone now. And I've read, I'm halfway through 2 of them. And I've started another one, so. And I love, I've got lots of physical books as well, but like, it's great. I'm so excited to be getting back into reading. And look, Glenn Austin, we just started a book club on this channel. Just last week, we picked our first book, and it's Haruki Murakami's Norwegian Wood. So if you want to join the book club, anyone who wants to join it, just get that book, rent it out from the library or buy it or whatever, and read it over the next month. And in a month's time, we're going to talk about it. So I've got it on my phone and my tablet, so I'm going to read it. And there's an audio book out there, so you can listen to it if you don't want to read. Glenn Austin continues, my disability in my hands means figuring new method to use what function I have to play bass. Oh, brother. So sorry to hear that that's what you got, man. Like, and with bass, it's such having the hands, it hurts your hands to play bass. So hopefully you can change, maybe, like, if you use a pick, or you'll be working it out, but hopefully you can still keep playing bass. I love bass. I played bass for a while, and bass is awesome. I hope that you can keep playing it, man. And that's it. Like, you look at, you'll find a way. You'll find a way. So, if it's your strumming hand, like, you could get a special strap that's got a pick attached to it, and you play like that. If it's your fingering hand, then that's difficult. But then there's other ways, maybe you can learn to play it. Find out a way to keep playing bass. Megan says, I love these goals. I'm feeling inspired by your story. Thank you, Megan. I'm so happy to be able to share this. 6 months ago, I had lost almost hope, and I was in a very dark place. And I was in a very dark place a year ago, and then to where I am now, it's like, wow, I can't believe it. I'm excited. This is 1 year, and I'm excited for the future. I know it's going to be hard work. I know there's going to be pain, and I know I've got to do more. So, but I can only do as much as I can at the moment. But I keep saying I'm too I'm too hard on myself. Like, I'm reading several books at the moment. I'm doing a course in this nonviolent communication, which is amazing. This Marshall B. Rosenberg that started this whole thing is a good man. Like he's helped so many people in teaching them about empathy and how to speak. It's amazing. Like I wish I'd done this earlier, but it's things happen at the right time sometimes, and that's what's happened for me. So Glenn Austin says we never know what all we can do. That's it. That's it. Having an open mind and just being aware that we don't know. It can be frightening and daunting, but it can also be liberating and you know it's things happen out of nowhere sometimes. Sometimes they happen because you've been working on them for a while, and also um, we don't realize how much power we have inside ourselves to be able to just do things, and it that's why it's such an amazing thing when things happen is that it just happens and you just Scotty says, I love Tibetan chanting and throat singing. Awesome. So interesting and very powerful. It is. Hey, I'm going to get back into that. That's going Matthew. I'm going to do that because I used to get right into it and I did make recordings of it and stuff like that. I probably won't do any now because I'm embarrassed because you got to get into the mode, But like, you know, um, it's it's good therapy, and I've been told by therapists that humming and chanting is really good therapy for your polyvagal theory or vagal nerve repair, and um, calming the mind and also realigning the mind. And that's one thing I've found by reading the books is that trauma disrupts your mind and your heartbeat as well. So when your heart rate variability is off because of trauma, when you breathe in and when you breathe out, that regulates your heartbeat. So when you breathe irregularly, your heart rate's breathing irregularly, and this is different to what you're saying, but it's a similar thing where the science behind it. Chanting, doing chanting and humming is like doing neurofeedback, where they stick electrodes on your head, and so chanting is amazing, and you can see why the monks did it for so long. It's ancient. It's an ancient practice that it attunes it, it calms the mind, and it connects you and gets you into a state of calmness. And when you are in that state, it enables your body to heal. So it's certainly something I'm going to get back into doing. So what I'll do is, to not be embarrassed, I'll go out into the nature where away from people and I'll do the chanting. just so my neighbors don't think there's something funny going on. But yeah, no, I love chanting, and it's to do with the feedback mechanism with your brain, and it's very powerful. And as you know, with frequencies and cymatics healing, if you can hum and chant to particular frequencies, you can actually activate certain parts of your body. So it's very real, powerful practice. Glenn Austin says, nice to find your channel. There's heaps of comments. I've been sitting here chatting so long, so I will go through the comments though. Matthew says, I too am so grateful I found your channel. All these poems are, I don't have words. Beautiful is closest. Thank you so much. Check out, I've got on my thing, I did on my live streams playlist, there's one, Insomnia, writing poetry. There's 18, I sat here for 4 hours and I wrote 18 poems over 4 hours. But what I did was I put it in the description of the video is the poems. So you can just like click on the time and then it'll skip to the poems. Poetry has been a big healing thing for me. It lets me get out my pain and all my emotions. And a really big thing for me was with the poetry was, and this is where this stream's all about. This is 1 year when I went through a life crisis, and then I was in hospital, and then I was on medication. The medication messed my head up. Like I couldn't think properly. And writing poetry allowed me to break through that. And I was already writing poetry before that, you know, and then I used to write songs. When I used to make music, I used to write lyrics, but not much. I used to do mostly instrumental music, but I used to write lyrics. But I've always loved writing in that. So thank you for your comment. That's really amazing. But yeah, there's lots. I even have a playlist on my channel which is poetry and spoken word. So like there is selected poems on there, and I'll try and keep adding to it. Matthew says, "Can you please read another poem or two, or 15, or all of them?" I will try and read another one. I have been reading a lot of poems in the last ones. Glenn Rosson says it's encouraging. Megan says, first time here. Hello. It's good to see all nice, friendly new people here, you know. I really like that, you know. And it just happens like that. We just find each other. You know, everyone who's come to this channel has been amazing people. So if you ever join these live chats, you'll find nice people to have a conversation with, and you know, like-minded survivors, and people who are going through healing, and people with different conditions as well. You know, it's not just complex post-traumatic stress disorder. It's all different things people are dealing with. Matthew, I will read another poem. You know what I'll do? I will read. There's a trilogy in these things, right? So I wrote the first one here, which I wrote 2 years ago. And then I wrote the second one 6 months ago. And I have read it already before on a live stream. And then the other night when I did the Insomnia writing poetry stream, I wrote the third one. So it's a trilogy. So I might read all 3 poems one after the other. So, but I'll go through the comments for a while and I'll do that. because that'll be awesome to do. Red Rose says, Luke, I have tears streaming down my face right now. Tonight, being able to be present here, this is a moment with you, such a blessing. Thank you, Red Rose. It's always an amazing time with you here, you know. Very special person. Megan says, yeah, I had no idea where the film was headed. I don't know it would affect anything in me. Thank you. Yeah, that's it. Well, that's the difficulty with films, you know, like sometimes you get like people warn you. So I remember like people like people were like saying, warned me off. This is going back 20 years ago, more than 20 years, 25 years ago. People were saying, oh, don't watch Donnie Darko. That they're like, oh, it's like they knew that it would trigger me. And, you know, Donnie Darko was all about someone who felt like they didn't exist or they were trapped. And I'd had major trauma and near-death experiences. And so I had this dissociation going on, and people warned me off it. And when I finally saw it, I was like, wow, this is, I get why they said don't watch this movie, because it would have been too much for me at the time. But they can be therapeutic. That's the thing. But you don't know. This is the problem. And the thing with filmmakers, and I do this with my poems, you know, like they might start off all peaceful and happy and then become very sad. They never really become violent or angry. They generally become sad and depressing. But often I will try and write melancholy, depression, and sadness in a positive way, constructive way. So even it's a way of dealing with the pain. So that trilogy of poems, which I'll read later, they're very sad and they bring me to tears when I read them. So it might be traumatic, but it's not real. They're not really traumatic. They're more just very sad, emotional, you know. Red Rose says, hello, Megan. And Red Rose also says, hello, Genosi. Genosin, sorry. Megan says, hi, Red Rose. Red Rose says, hello, Matthew. Matthew says, hello, Miss Poetess. Everyone's saying hello to each other. This is awesome. Red Rose says to Megan with the emojis. See, I'm going to try and stop reading out all the emojis so I can keep through the comments. But everyone's saying hello back to each other. Red Rose says, yes, Matthew. Red Rose says, Luke, I'm ordering my physical copy of the book today for our book club. Awesome. It's so exciting. I look forward in reading my very first, not your very first, you've read thousands of books. Very first book for the book club. So anyone who's new here, we started a book club last week, and that hat up there, I drew out of the hat. I picked out a short list of 10 books that were suggested by people. And the first one is Haruki Murakami's Norwegian Wood. And so I bought the ebook. You might be able to get it from your library. So please, if you want to join it, and then in a month's time we'll do a live stream. We'll all talk about the book. Matthew says, hope is such a powerful force of change and good. The tiniest sliver saved my life. It must be magical. That's beautiful, Matthew. That's hope has been like a in a lot of the poems. Like I did a stream where I read bunch of poems. There's even like, these are some that I have. These are some that actually I haven't read. So they're ones I haven't read on the stream. But like, this book's full of ones from I wrote through the year, and hope was a big part of it all. It's like having that tiniest glimmer of hope will get you through. And you know how people say, "Oh, hope's," like, put all your hope in things and you get let down. It's not the case. You've got to have hope, and you still have to do the work. You can't just have hope and do nothing. You have that glimmer of hope, and it allows you to do the littlest amount of, and then you can keep going, and then you slowly build back. It's hope is such an amazing thing. It's saved me. So that's a beautiful comment. Red Rose says, Matthew, yes, hope. Megan says to Red Rose, if of interested, the book is available when you browse it online. You can write file type PDF Norwegian Wood. That's true. Yeah, you can. Good comment there, Megan. Like, you don't have to go to a library or I bought it off Google Books, $15. You don't have to, and you can also, the audio books on YouTube, so you can listen to the audio book. But yes, you can find the PDF of it if you do the searching. Murakami's made lots of money already off his books, so there's no guilt in downloading that stuff. And I share all my art for free anyway online. Red Rose says, Megan, I'm sending you warm, caring thoughts right now. I'm sorry that you've had such a rough night. Feel for you. Yeah. Well, it's great that you've come here after like being triggered. So hopefully this has like been a breath, taking a breath and like a change. Because I know when I get triggered, I get in that state, and that's why I've started studying mindfulness, is so that I can re-regulate and teach myself how to reset and calm. But a change of location and a change of atmosphere is so that's a big thing. Distraction. So this is a distraction, which is a great distraction. You're having a great conversation with new friends. How awesome is that? So hopefully you've calmed down from that. And I totally, I know what you went through, and I'm not trying to sound like I'm trying to empathize with you, but I hope I don't sound like I'm not telling you I know exactly what you've gone through. I understand what it's, what I'm saying. Movies can music as well can be triggering, but movies are very much more powerful because of the visual element and the social dynamic element and all that. I find music is like, today I was brought to tears twice listening to my favorite band in the car. And I as soon as I thought about that, it took me back to that. Like, they're the most beautiful songs, and this band writes songs that always make me cry. There's always one song on the album that makes me cry, and some of their albums, like, almost all the songs will make me cry because they're just so beautiful, and there's pain in there, but they're so beautiful. It just took me back to when I was in the car today, and I've got the song in my head. It's such a beautiful song. I love it. I'm listening to the song right now. So it's from their latest album. But I'll keep reading the comments. But that's the power of media and stuff, you know. Like, it's so. Megan says, "I'm feeling really good now. The feeling is past now." That's awesome to hear. Thank you, especially for your sentiment. That's awesome to hear. I'm very behind on the comments here, so I'm going to catch up. But this is a really lovely chat tonight. I'm so honoured to be able. Well, I'm so like to be able to talk about and to be excited about this last year of getting to where I am now. I know that I know I've got a lot of healing to do, and I've got a long way to go. And my physical health is very weak. I'm very weak. I need to exercise. I know there's a lot of stuff I've got to do, but like I've got some amazing stuff happening. Things are going to get better and better. You know, reading that Body Keeps the Score about trauma, and reading stories about people when they recover is the best thing. You know, like when you go, you hear this story about someone who's been through this horror stories, and they get the right treatment, and then their life changes. Suddenly finish they finish study, or they get back to work, or they get married, or there is positive outcomes that can happen from once you've gotten past that point of letting go in recovery. And it's such a difficult thing to do because it is stored, like the book says, trauma is stored in the body. You feel it, and it, when you get triggered, it triggers different parts of your brain, different parts of your heart, your stomach, your everything. Red Rose says, "Yeah, Megan, thank you for your letting me know about that. Yes, I'll do that. I'll also buy the physical book, being as I'm very partial holding reading physical books." Yeah, I would have too, Red Rose, but just because I've just started reading ebooks and it's probably cheaper, that's why I got the ebook. But like what someone said before, you can just search and download the PDF. You know, you can save yourself the money. Red Rose says, "Yeah, Megan, I'm a strong bibliophile and I just adore physical books so much. I love holding them, reading them, smelling them. My bedroom is full of books." Matthew says, "Oh, that smile, that laugh, my heart is just melted." Red Rose says, "Megan, that is so good to hear. You're most welcome." Megan says, "Yeah, I feel that like hard copies, but it's good intermittently until you receive a physical copy." Yeah, that's it. That's where I've sort of ventured. So I've you know, for the CPTSD stuff, I'm learning all about through mindfulness and everything. Um, I've booked out. It's called accessing the healing power of the vagus nerve, and polyvagal theory and the vagus nerve. There's lots of books on healing your nervous system, your vagus nerve that goes down and connects to all your major organs from the brain. And science has shown that you can heal it and grow it back again. So if you've had childhood trauma and it was shrunken and starved, you can grow it and make it strong again. and so I've got this. I'm getting this book out from the library because these books cost $70, $100. You know what I mean? So, but they're the books that are worth getting. That's my next big thing is polyvagal theory and practice. And this is where Body Keeps a Score is all about. It doesn't really go into it majorly. It's more about solving the letting go, like the major bit. Once you've solved the major bit, then you can work on the health. But everyone who's gone through major trauma has got like major health problems. You know, massive list affects your whole body, digestion, all your organs, your brain development, your vagal nerve, arthritis, sciatica, and there's all these conditions that people get from it. And it's because when your body is stuck in that, when you're parasympathetic, I get always getting confused, but when you're, when your body's stuck in the fight or flight mode, fight fright mode, it's flooding your body with hormones, and it's stopping your body from doing things. So it affects your whole body. And so different people will have different chronic conditions because of the trauma. So once you've healed the trauma, then you can work on healing the physical side that's been affected. Obviously, you know, for me, like I drank alcohol for a long time and smoked cannabis. So there's health effects from that. You know, they're minor, but they are still things that you still have to heal from. So, but I certainly have had adrenal cortisol, you know, like the stress hormones overload. Sorry, I'm talking too much. I should be reading the comments. Red Rose says, I agree. Matthew, I agree with you. Luke is really best and dear friend. He's such a marvelous blessing to this world. Thank you so much, Red Rose. Red Rose continues. Where are we? Megan, that is very true. Also, the book is on YouTube, free audio version. I will listen to it as well. Our first book is called Norwegian Wood by Haruki Murakami. That's it, first book for the book club. We got, hey Ty, how you going? Good to see you here. How do I become hopeful and have a good life mindset again? That's a really good question, Ty. I hope you're still here because it's taken a long time for me to get to the reading this. That's a very difficult question to answer. I think it's hard to be hopeful. It's okay. So disillusionment it happens. And when you've been continually knocked down and knocked over and you've gone through pain and struggle, trauma and abuse, whatever, all those things create this barrier that you feel like you're not going to be able to ever get past it. It's like this massive wall. But you know, the trick is there's ways of getting around the wall. So know that you can. There's always a way. So that for me is hope. That there's always a way that you can get through or get past something. And it is very difficult to actually, if you're disillusioned, it's very hard to find hope. So what I do is, when I'm in that point or position, I look for it. I ask for it. I look for hope. And if I can't find it, what I do is I imagine it's there, even though I can't see it. So you wish for hope. You know, once you have a little bit of hope, you know that eventually things will get better. But if you're at a point where you think it's impossible, then you have to wish for it. And then know that you still have to do some things in your life to help make things better. And that's very hard to do if you're very worn down. Like, if all your life situations are struggles and struggles and struggles, then you can't see any light. You can't see any way out or hope. But the smallest thing can be all it takes to give you enough of a starting point, and then you just have to keep that going, and then eventually you'll get bigger returns, bigger things will happen, and that will remind you that there is hope for more. So, like, it's like, I use the sort of analogy of, like, you if you've you're lost in the mountains, and you've got to keep going up and down these valleys and up and down over the mountains, and you're getting tired, and you've run out of food, you don't know if you're going to make it. Each time you get to a top of a little bit of a rise and you can see a bit further, you know that you're also getting further along the path. So eventually you'll find your home, you'll find your way home, or to where you want to go. It's a very difficult. That's a good question, Ty. I hope you're still here. It's one of the most difficult things, is having a positive mindset when everything that around you could be negative and you're struggling. So for me, I'll give some examples. In front of me here, like on the ground, I've got like some dishes and a rubbish bag, and I've got books sitting on the ground there. Tomorrow morning, I'll clean all this up. So that for me, that'll be, my room will be clean again. And by all this stuff sitting here at the moment, I feel like it's messy. But if I do that little thing, that'll make me feel a little bit better. So whatever it is, that can be something that can change your mindset and then give you that hope. For me, it was writing poetry about hope, and looking for hope helped me get through very difficult times. And if you don't write poetry, some form of creative thing, or getting out into nature, where nature will give you its beauty, and it will nourish you enough to know that you just keep going. Matthew says, Ty, mindfulness, patience with yourself, self-love will come. That's it, mate. That's perfect answer there from Matthew. That's it. Mindfulness, patience with yourself, self-love. Red Rose says, hello, Ty. Matthew says, Luke brings up an excellent point too. If you can be mindful, distract yourself with something pleasurable and healthy until you can. That's it. Red Rose says, Matthew, what wise and most amazing words there. Matthew says, thank you for the affirmations, Miss Poetess. I plan on getting the most value out of my trauma as possible. That's an awesome perspective, Matthew. That is an awesome perspective to have. Turn it into strength. So what's happened to me is throughout my life, trauma has enabled me to be creative and to do amazing things at certain times. Unfortunately, I never really treated it properly until now, but I have this optimism now that I can turn it into a strength. I'm facing the reality that I will have a sadness within me, but I will still find happiness. Happiness is not because I have had happiness in the past as well. And so I've been happy tonight. Often when I do these live streams, I'll start off and I'll be like really sad and going heavy stuff. And then suddenly I'm smiling, my cheeks are like this, and I'm getting sore cheeks from laughing and smiling. So things can change rapidly for you. But yes, that's a good point, Matthew. Getting the most out of your trauma is a good thing. And that's where the concept of post-traumatic growth is a major thing, make it positive. Ty says, thank you guys. I appreciate the sweet words. I really do have very low self-esteem because of CPTSD, and that sense of shame is disabling. Ty continues, right. Yeah, look, that's a beautiful comment that you're appreciating that, and also that I understand what you're saying with the self-esteem, and I've grappled with low self-esteem my whole life. Also the shame, toxic shame. I'm only letting that go now. It's been it is disabling, and it's very hard to let go of. But know how Ty think, not just think, know how strong you are for working through this. So even though there is that, and that was in one of my poems from that last one. Walk through the shame is a line in one of the poems I wrote that night in that Insomnia stream. Walk through the shame, and then it will pass, and you'll be strong again. But it is very hard to get rid of that shame, and most of the shame comes from being hurt by others and then internalizing it and blaming yourself for it. You got to understand that it's not your fault. It's other people did these things or put you in these situations. If you can let go of that somehow, that will enable you to rekindle, and that's it. And what someone was saying before, self-love. You learn to love yourself and to care for yourself. Put yourself first is a big thing. Red Rose says, Ty, my personal advice is just take your life 1 hour, 1 minute, 1 second at a time. And Ty, never lose hope. Matthew was just speaking on hope, and just breathe through it all. That's it. I'm so far behind on the comments here. Ty says, knowing recovering stories is very helpful. Well, Jet, that's good, man. That's why I'm doing this channel, man. That's why I'm like sharing my pain. Is I know that it's helping other people. So Ty says, I'm very appreciative and thankful. So this is 1 year ago today, I went through a life crisis, and this is 1 year today. And I've had a lot of shame from that, from what I did, because it hurt other people around me because of what I went through. And I had the self-shame of like what I'd gone through myself. It's hard to let go of, but once you let go of it, it's a major step. And there's also the shame that comes from things that happen to you from other people that you blame yourself for, that you shouldn't blame yourself for. So whether either way, like letting go of it is a way of moving on. Red Rose says, Matthew, you're most welcome. Completely understand, as I'm working on the same exact process as well. There's so much to comprehend about the whole situation. Red Rose says, Matthew, I know you too find that is 1 step forward, then 1 step back, then it repeats, so forth and so on. I'm just trying to learn to keep on keeping on. Though it's hard. That's it. That's understanding that 1 step forward, 1 step backward, And like I've said, sometimes it's you take 3 steps forward and 2 steps back, or sometimes you go back again, so you regress. So you take 1 step forward, 2 steps backward. Okay, so when that happens, you got to identify what's happening. You don't want to let that happen and keep happening. The further back you go, the harder it is to. If you can stay in balance in the middle and just slow steps, know that you're going to go forward and then you're going to back again, forward and back again. As long as you keep moving, you keeping momentum going. But if you are taking double steps back when you're only taking 1 step forward, and that happens a few times, that's when you reach out and you ask, what can I do different? But most of the work you have to do yourself, and so you're the one taking the steps. So if you're as long as you're moving 1 step forward, 1 step backwards, okay. Even if you're back in the same spot, you're still going through that, and over time you're gonna get stronger anyway. Even if you're not moving forward, you're still moving. So like that's another big thing, is that it might seem like you're not making progress, but you are. And then suddenly, if you keep moving, even if you keep getting setbacks, at some point all of these things will start like getting better, and you'll be like, wow, you know, you'll really be like, this is awesome. And then, you know, then you can start to appreciate beauty of nature again. You know, for me, that's a big thing, you know, like not being able to appreciate, you know, how awesome things are. And then, but then when you get to a point where you get enough progress, even if you're not moving forward fast enough, you're still moving, and then you get like enough to remind you that you can now start to appreciate things more. And that's a big thing, appreciating things that you deny yourself from appreciating. So enjoying things. Matthew says, I saw a lovely demonstration of a man climbing up a set of stairs. He'd fall off to the side, land on a trampoline, and then bounce one step back. It took him only moments to climb to the whole thing. I've seen that video, Matthew. It's a good one. I know the one you're talking about. He goes up and then he goes up. It's a perfect example. And he gets to the top of the stairs. That's a great video. I know the one you're talking about. Matthew continues, bouncing back and having that support network. The trampoline is a challenge, but entirely achievable. That's a great comment. That's it. You got to have some form of a support network. You can't do everything alone, but you have to do most of the work yourself. That's the thing. You do need support, but yeah, you can't do it alone. Or you got to be able to reach out when you need to. And that's the trampoline. Bounce you back up. You fall off, you bounce back up again. Bouncing back and having that support. Oh, I just read that one. Red Rose says, Ty, you are most welcome. Send you much love right now. It's so hard. I do know as well we will get through it somehow, someday. Baby Stags, how you going, Baby Stag? Nice to see you here. You're welcome. It's nice, friendly chat here. I'm glad tonight's been all these new people here, and it's been amazing. Baby Stag says, speak how you want, baby. This is your channel, and you can do as you please. Anybody truly here for you will never see you before, but I ain't stopped. Hello, baby. How you doing? As I like what you're saying, mate. That's good. It is, you know, and then that's it. Like I am, you know, I feel privileged to be able to just sit here and like speak whatever I feel like. And I do talk about pain and a lot of difficulties, but I also talk about positive stuff as well. So, and you know, I'll say what I feel. So it's good. It's liberating. It's like it makes me like. And look, I've got major anxiety. I hardly go out in public. I freak out when I'm in public situations. You know, and I got to get. You know, I used to be a very public person, and I've become very recluse and isolated. So this is a big thing for me to be able to sit here right now and just talk and feel comfortable and free that I can just do that. So thank you for that comment, Baby Stag. Red Rose says, Matthew, yes, I know the video which you speak of. I saw it on Instagram. Just enamored of it. Very powerful. Baby Stag says, I also suffer from CPTSD. I healed myself. Awesome. took time regrouping, yet it is possible. Truly, if you truly want it, that's it. You have to really. It takes time, and you truly need to want it. And one of the hardest things is that when you're constantly going through trigger response cycles and struggling in life, you don't realize that you have to want to break out of it. But as soon as you make that break where you just like really go, I want to do this, now's the time, that's when you actually start the healing. And there's a lot of pain in letting go. You have to let go of pain. It's hard to do, and forgiveness is very hard to do, and I've found that difficult, and I'm still working on that, and I've basically forgiven most. But that's a really good comment. I think it was really when I wanted to really actually make the change is when it started happening. Yeah, that's it. And be honest with yourself. You got to truly want it and are willing to be honest, completely honest with self. That's a beautiful comment there, baby stag. That's it. You got to, and that's understanding. That's understanding. And this goes back to what someone was saying before about the shame, because the shame comes from often other people's actions that you blame yourself for, which is not right. So you have to be honest, but you also have to be honest with yourself. You know, you have to be comfortable and be knowing yourself. That's a big thing. So, and sometimes that is forgiving yourself as well. Because the thing is like for me, like I've gone through self-harm and stuff like that. So I had to forgive myself for that. Also, even knowing when you get triggered and you act a certain way, you have to be honest with yourself in how you realize how you acted. So that enables you to let go, but also understand. It's for me, it's like understanding it. So my biggest thing was I would get triggered into fawn response, and so I would be a people pleaser, and I would act silly or ridiculous, stupid, too much. I would try and do everything to try and I would act out of character, and then I would feel ashamed for like the way I acted because it wasn't me. Because really, the real me is more reserved and still friendly and happy and excitable. I'm never going to change that, but I'm not going to be that person who gets triggered into acting in a ridiculous way, a stupid way, in order to please others because I've been triggered. If that makes sense. So I'll be more reserved. I'm not going to stop being empathic. I'm not going to stop helping others, but I'm going to do it in the way that truly is the way that I want to help others. And so, and for me, that's been a big part of the shame cycle as well. It's not only what happened or things that had happened, it's the way I then reacted and acted, which became part of this whole, and it becomes this cycle of, like, it starts self-fulfilling, and it's very hard to escape from. But as soon as you sort of step back from it, because you know that your true self is always there. It's always there. So whatever happened to you, you can heal from it, and you can retain the real you that was always there. And you can choose to keep doing the things that you want to do, rather than become the person that people make you become, if that makes sense. It's a difficult thing, but it's like breaking cycles. It's like breaking habits, and it's so difficult when you get triggers. So like when you get triggered, and so for me, it was social situations and manipulation and narcissism and stuff like that. Um, I I had multiple different types of things contribute to my CPTSD. So I've had to work on different aspects differently. So it's a lot of work, but uh, that's a great comment there, baby stag. Red Rose says hello, baby stag. Red Rose says yes, just one drop of hope, just one drop. That's all you need. Baby stag says hello, baby. I'm so proud of you. Red Rose says, baby stag, wow, your words are truly inspirational and motivating. That's it. Ty's got the hearts. I'm resisting reading out the emojis, because I used to read out all the emojis, and I'm trying to stop doing that. But Ty had the hearts there. I'm so far behind on the chat. I can't believe it. It's great. This conversation's really flowing tonight. Where am I? Wow, I am so far. Where am I in the chat? Here we are. I've caught up. Yeah, so Ty's got the hearts. Baby Steak says, I mean them fully also. It takes a lot, almost every drop of it. Your heart, your lungs. So I know firsthand how it is to fight while in them spaces and being stuck with, with within those moments of time. Baby Steak says that seemed to never budge, let alone move freely. That's it. Like that's a big part of it, is like being stuck. Red Rose says yes, to just be able to express and get your emotions out somehow in a way it's productive to oneself. Baby Stag says your words have brought tears to my eyes. Very touching they are. Baby Stag says, oh, baby, don't cry. It's okay. Never mind, crying is good. Get it out. However, never believe it was my intention to upset you. Just watch y'all to know that it does get better. Wanted to let you all know that it does get better. That's it, Baby Stag. That's awesome. Matthew says, yes, Baby Stag. There's been so many moments in my life where even crawling to the bathroom is progress. I hear that. Celia, how you going, Celia? Thanks for being here. Thanks for helping others. Thanks for joining the chat, Celia. Matthew says sometimes even breathing is work. Nods. Very much resonates. That's it. And that's why, like, I found like learning breathing and doing that, learning how to breathe is a big thing. And controlling the breath, you know, it does such a massive thing. You know, so when breathing itself becomes such a difficult thing, and you can then somehow control it, it not only calms you down, but it builds strength in you. And that's the thing with trauma, you get the heart rate variation, and it's to do with the in breath and the out breath. You know, breathing like shallow breaths or deep breaths, and breathing intermittently and all that stuff, and that then affects your brain. Like, it all connects. So it's being able to like breathe calmly and slow yourself down and breathe deeply. You don't have to breathe deeply all the time. There's so many breathing techniques. Find the ones that work for you, but like focusing on the breath, which is the mindfulness aspect of breathing, is a big thing, because it will readjust because you're focusing on the breath. Baby Stag says there's an ending, and just as the speaker's saying, you can and you'll find a way. Never stop fighting for you the same way y'all would fight for everyone else. That's a good comment. You can and will find a way. Never stop fighting for you. Same ways all would fight for everyone else. Red Rose says, Baby Stag is tears of comfort. I'm supposed to hear your words tonight, like your words are those of an angel, which is sent to me. Perfect moment. Life really can be so hard. Red Rose says, Matthew, I totally relate. Baby Stag says, been there too, sweetheart, and I fully understand. In those moments when you accomplish such things, be proud of self, zero judgments on yourself. You did it. All that matters. Red Rose says, hello, Celia. Sky's here. How you going, Sky? 46-year-old here. My life is a train wreck. I'm 46 years old too, my friend. And my life was a train wreck. So 1 year ago today, my whole life fell apart. 1 year ago today. So know that things can get better. Things got better for me. It took a lot of time and work, and it didn't all happen at once. Setbacks, getting, forwards and backwards. If it's a train wreck now, just remember it can be fixed. It might take a lot of work. It might take years. But the beauty of it is, even if it takes years, if you work through it, you'll get results within 6 months. And then the rest of the time it takes is going to get better and better. So you're not going to be stuck in that. It's not like you're going to be stuck in this train wreck for years. It will get better. So I hope everything works out for you, Sky. And I understand. I'm 46 and my life was a train wreck. 1 year ago, everything fell apart for me. Baby Stag says yes. I was sent box to y'all. This man speaking to y'all. Also, sorry, sir. On your name, know your name. Proud of you as well. Thank you for your helping me. Thanks for being here, Baby Stag. You've had some really great comments tonight, and everyone's had great comments. Everyone's really having a good. This is we're really working on stuff right now. Red Rose says, Baby Stag, I truly appreciate your sentiments so much. Please know that you're a marvelous blessing to this world. Your pain has not been in vain. You're a gift to others. Red Rose says, Sky, hello. Sky says, hi, Red Rose. Baby Stag says, thank you with the heart, the prayer, and the bird. Sky says, yeah, 20-year-old, not 20-year-old, yeah, 20 years of relationship breakdown. I've lost everything. That is a train wreck, my friend. So I'm feeling for you. That's, that's a lot to deal with. Well, I don't know what to say. Just stay strong and keep try and do as much things for yourself that can give you joy in life. If you can do things while you're going through this, because you're going through a lot now. 20 years of relationship ending is a big thing. So I know it's hard to do, but things that can make you feel happy, whatever it is, that are healthy, going for walks in nature, playing sport, reading, writing, drawing, something. I resorted to drinking for periods of my life, and that was not good for me, So I know that you don't want to get stuck in those things. So if you can do things that help you get through this time, even if you're not happy when you're doing it. So if you go for a walk on a walking trail and you're miserable, you'll still feel better afterwards, even though you're miserable doing it, and you'll feel better for actually making sure you did it. So whatever it is, something that you can. There's the barrier, and the barrier is I can't do that because I'm too upset, and that's the problem. I have that problem myself. That's why I'm talking about it. It's not easy, but when you actually do push through and get out there, you actually get results from it. Red Rose says, Sky, I'm sending you a big hug right now, and I'm sending you my love. Please know that you're not alone. You have someone right here that cares. I'm sure I do. Red Rose says, Sky. Baby Stag says, so all of you keep going. It gets better. That's it. That's awesome. Take full accountability. Be honest with self and others. And when you don't have the energy, respect, that be okay with it. Yet always try again. That's perfect. What you said there is just perfect. That's resilience. That's being strong. Sky says, cheers, Red Rose. I appreciate that. Just shrugged. Just struggle with my reality. Red Rose says, Baby Stag, you're most welcome. Baby Stag says, hey, baby, what's your name, sir? Matthew says, if you're still reading by the time I get to this message, take a drink of water. Friendly reminder to hydrate, my friend. I need to fill up my water bottle. So I'll go fill that up in a minute. Thank you, Matthew, for thinking of me. I do need to do that. I will take a break in a minute. Baby Stag says, sorry, I write differently. I'll try to speak how y'all do. It's hard because Creole, so I talk and different. My apologies, babies. No, it's all good, brother. Like, I just have this thing where I used to read out all the comments and I'd read out the emojis as well. And I'm trying to stop reading the emojis. And mate, you speak awesome. Keep speaking the way you talk. I love how you speak. I can hear and I understand what you're saying. And you're speaking the truth. That last thing you said, I'll read it again. So you'll keep doing. Sky says yes. I feel you. Red Rose says Sky yes. I feel you for. I truly understand what you're saying. Sky says Creole nice. That's it. Creole's awesome. I love all the language. Red Rose says baby stag. I'm a Louisianan here. Red Rose says Matthew, very true about hydration. Thank y'all. Thank you for that reminder. Yeah, I'm gonna have to take a break in a minute or so, and get some water, go to the toilet, and like 5 minute break or something like that. Because I've been here now at 2.5 hours straight. Matthew Scotty says, must self care by staying up at least 3 a.m. by not staying up. I've got that problem at the moment. At the moment, Matthew, I'm not getting to sleep till 5 a.m. at the moment, and then I'm sleeping till about 10 or 11. So it's working out okay because I'm still I'm awake for my mum through the night when she needs me. So it's okay that I've got insomnia at the moment. I'm happy with it. Eventually, it would be good to get back to a regular sleeping pattern, but I'm happy to stay. I'll stay with this sleeping pattern if it benefits my family. So Matthew says yes with the hearts. Must self-care by not staying up past 3 a.m. Watch the rest of the live stream when I'm awake. Love meeting you all. You got a lifetime subscriber from me, Luke. Thanks, Matthew. It's good to meet you. You're a good soul. How awesome's that? Tonight's been amazing. Matthew Scott says, peace, love, and light, my friend. Baby Steak says, hey, Louisiana. So am I, Lake Charles, Louisiana, aka the lake. Red Rose says, Matthew, good night. It was a pleasure to meet you. It's taken me a while to catch this, so Matthew might still be here or he might be gone by now, but he'll watch the replay, so he'll get to see this. Sky says, I realize that I never have another relationship as I will never not ever hurt someone, though. No, I will not ever hurt someone I love through my actions. That's very hard, Sky. And that's something that I've I've had this pain problem with, is that the fear of hurting people and fear of relationships. It can work. You could find the right person and it could be amazing and beautiful. So it's just a matter of getting to that point where you are able to there's the right person there for you. There's many people out there that are right and ready for you, and don't be afraid. Just be open and honest that, if you fear the fact that you will hurt someone through your trauma, the right person will understand that and they'll be there for you. And they do that. They stick with them. And afterwards it becomes amazing because both people have gone through it then, the person has stuck by the other person, and because the thing is that the connection is there. If you find that connection, and then it's a very difficult thing, but don't give up. I look, I have the same problem and pain. I feel like I'm going to be lonely for the rest of my life. I've got to go. I'll fill up my water bottle and get a drink in a minute and have a 5-minute break. So there'll be just no one here for 5 minutes. But I'll catch up with the chat before I do that. Red Rose says, baby stag, wow, how awesome that you are a fellow Louisianan. That's so cool. Oh, Emin Bells is here. Where's that? Wow, this chat's like, I'm so far behind on the chat. How far behind on the no, I can't be that far behind. Wow, I'm so far behind on the chat. I can't believe it. Emin Bells is here. Hi, everyone. That's how far behind on the chat I am. I'm going to have to be real quick on catching up. Awesome to see you here, Emin Bells. So, it's book club is Norwegian wood. You got that's Baby Stag says, couldn't understand why it wasn't me. My life has always been stressful as hell, and I've always been able to deal with it. But when my ex best friend died, my whole world crumbled and I changed. That's sad. I'm so sorry to hear that. When you lose like your best friend, man, that's just it's the worst. Sky says, hi, Emin Bells. Red Rose says, Emin Bells, yay, hello, friend. Sky says, my condolences, Baby Stag. Red Rose says, Baby Stag, I feel your life and time has truly changed me as well. Baby Stag says, yes, it is on a run across many from the foot. Baby Stag, you delayed, baby, but won't use them anymore. I promise. I know I'm sorry. That's all right. Man, use the emojis. I just won't read them. I'm trying to I'm trying to if I can like read the emojis as a word, I'll use it as the word. You're doing, but Baby Stag, you're awesome. Just remember that. Sky says night, Matthew. Yeah, Matthew will watch the replay from now on. Baby Stag says, I'd always been able to deal with it from baby because my life has always been stressful. I just don't know, something about watching her die over 5 years slowly changed it. Man, that's a lot. That's a lot. 5 years, seeing someone die over 5 years is a painful thing. That's traumatic. Red Rose says, Luke, you are blessing and touching so many hearts and souls tonight here in the life. Thank you, Red Rose. Baby Stag says, and I had a narcissist, so that didn't help either. I know that what it was that I've been surrounded by them since birth. Yeah, that's painful. That is painful, Baby Stag. It does damage. Emin Bell says to Sky, that's the exact thought I'd been following since 4 years. But honestly, if you're capable to have a relationship for that long, you're young and there's hope. That's it, Sky. Don't give up. Same Emin Bells as well. Don't you give up too, Emin Bells. Both of you and me. I want a woman. I want to not. I want to have a relationship with a woman and maybe long-term relationship. I don't want to give up on that. Sometime it might not happen. Sorry, it rolled out. Was wrong. I didn't know what a narcissist was, but I'd been surrounded by him since I was birth. Since birth, once I figured it made it easier to identify and heal from it all. That's it. Once you identify the traits and what they do, you can protect yourself from it and you can move on. Like, well, not move on, but you're always going to be. They're always going to be around. This guy says, "I'm so very sad that I hurt my ex partner." That's it's good that you're able to share that and and process that, Sky, you know, and like that's healing, you know, and you're being honest. So that's that's really good that you're able to do that. And look, we can't go through life without hurting people. We all do it. As much as we try not to, we're going to hurt people somehow through our life, you know. And you've owned up to that, and you just it's good that you've been able to share that and be able to speak it. And I hope that you can move on, and that you can still find someone, and it won't happen this next time, you know. Red Rose says to Sky the hugs. Baby Stag says, I'm not in pain anymore, baby. I healed it, but it did take a toll for about 4 or 5 years. That's about how long it took for me to work through it all, but I did it, so I can, you know, it does take time, baby Stag. It does take about that. It takes years, doesn't it? Things don't happen straight away. It takes years. Red Rose says, baby Stag. Baby Stag says, well, it's all of you. Every step you gets you closer to where you want to be. Keep going. Red Rose says, Sky, I feel for you so much. I understand so much emotional pain. I'm going through pain as well. So I'm right here for you. Take life one day, 1 hour, 1 second, or 1 minute, 1 second at a time. Sky says, cheers, baby Stag. Red Rose says, baby Stag with the hugs. Sky says, it's literally minute by minute at the moment. I sleep a lot at the moment. Laying down is all what I need right now. Yeah, you've noticed that that's what you need to be doing. Just taking it easy and just being as calm and peaceful as you can. Very traumatic times, you know, like being over trying to do too much when trying to it can not work for you. Baby Stag says it will ever get better, Sky. Promise. It will get better, Sky. Promise. However, you have to keep fighting for yourself. Try and do all the things you all love. So small children. It's what helped me get out of the house also every day. That's it. Do the things that you. That's it. Do the things that you love doing. Whatever, however small they are. Just go for like if it's a 5 minute walk around the block or watch the sunset or whatever, Baby Stag says, even just a little while. Sky says, thanks, Baby Stag. Red Rose says, Sky, I'm sending you. Every time I move this thing, here we go. Sky, I'm sending you such encouragement thoughts right now. I'm also sending you a big hug and love. Sky says, big hug back to you, Red Rose. Autosomna. Autosomna. That sounds rough, though. Good to see you here, Autosomna. Baby Steak says, you're very welcome, sweetheart. Defy says, what is crisis? Crisis is, okay, that's what I put in the That's what I put in the title of the video. Crisis was 1 year ago. I attempted to end my life. So I don't want to speak any more of it now. I don't want to hurt anyone, make anyone upset, but that's it. Sky, but yeah, thank you for asking. I just had to answer it. I was trying to avoid mentioning it. Red Rose says, Sky, oh, thank you so much. You're most welcome. I sure do appreciate it. Mia's here. Thank you for being here, Mia. How do you deal with it when you're in the thick of it? Well, sometimes I go to ground. I just do nothing. Sometimes I get creative and make art and do stuff. Other times I just ignore it. So I don't know. That's what I do. When I ignore it, I just keep doing what I'm doing. But that problem is when you do that, it either of those three things are going to not always work, and you're going to run out of time eventually, and like something bad's going to happen. So like, that's a good question. What you said. Red Rose says hello, Otasama. Red Rose says hello, Mia. Deffies, hello. Baby Steak says, Mia, breathe. Take time to understand what's happening to you and heal. Time to sit with what you are feeling, acknowledge it, and try and remember where it rooted from. Then face it until it healed. That's perfect. That's how you. That's it. Best advice. Sky says, thanks everyone for your support and kind words. I do appreciate life. I'm just very good. I'm not very good at it. Yeah, but don't worry, you're not alone, man. Sky says, I'll leave shortly, but I want you all to know you're awesome. Well, you're awesome too. Thank you. Thank you for being here, Sky. Red Rose says, Mia, just breathe through it, my friend. One day at a time, 1 hour at a time, 1 second at a time. That's all what I'm doing. You can do it. You're not alone. I'm right here with you. Sky with the hearts. Red Rose to Sky, the hugs. And Sky says, yes, you're not alone. Red Rose says, Sky, I've enjoyed being here with you tonight. Red Rose says, Sky, you are awesome too. Sky says, me to Red Rose, stay a little longer. I appreciate you, Luke. Thank you. And amazing people here. Red Rose says, I read a summer. Very true. Sky, appreciate. Red Rose says, Sky, appreciate you too. Your care and support has been immense. Truly appreciate it. I'm going to, I've got to go get a drink, fill up my water bottle, go to the toilet. So if you can wait 5 minutes, I'll be back. It's been an awesome chat tonight. We've really had an awesome chat. Awesome. So awesome. Yeah, it was nice having you here, Sky. Sounds like you're leaving. Still here? Oh yeah. Oh yes. Sky says, "Do you have a poem which you would share to Red Rose at Red Rose?" Yeah, Red Rose. She's a poet. Totally. Baby Stags. Mwah to you all. Red Rose says, "Sky, I sure would, but I don't think I have enough room in the comment section. Maybe I can get Luke to start reading my poems out loud for y'all." Yeah, I could do that one night. Sky says, "Sounds good." Sky says, "Do you have an Instagram account?" Red Rose says to Sky, "Do you have an Instagram account?" I have lots of my poems on there. Nature poetess, as I love nature so much. Baby Stag says, "I'm sleepy, beautifuls. So I'm gonna say good night. I'll follow once I I exit. Thanks, Baby Stag. I'll follow once I exit. And until next time, be blessed, encourage babies, and I love you all. And the Creator does also. Zero offense meant moi." That's awesome. Thanks for that. It's been really awesome having you here tonight, Baby Stag. You've said some really amazing things. So, Red Rose says, "Sky, there's so many other women who have fake accounts acting as my feed, but that right there is my real IG feed." Evan Bell says, "Thank you, Baby Stag. The same goes for you, baby. See, you got me," with the smiles. Red Rose says, "Baby Stag, I send you so much love. Thank you for being you." Evan Bells, "I love the sound of this world, babies." Of this word, babies. Sky says, "Jagged high, distant low, valley sky in the middle. Chapters and chapters of conscious thought. Day brings night. The moon watches us. Flesh moves ink in pen. Twinkling threads will always be." Sorry. I should have read that slower. I could have done it right. But that's a nice poem there, Sky. I put down one of my old poems for you, Red Rose. Adam Waraneski. "Hope you're all safe in recovery. Hope you're all well." Thank you, Adam. Good to see you here. Red Rose says, "Sky, oh my goodness, your fabulous writing has given me chills. You're a powerful wordsmith. How truly beautiful. I do love poems about the moon, and I write a ton of them myself." Emin Bell says, "Hello, Adam." Sky says, "Thanks, Red." Adam says, "Hi, Emin Bells, liking the poetry." Red Rose says, "Sky, oh gosh, wow, thank you, Sky, from the bottom of my heart." Red Rose says, "Adam, hello." Sky says, "I don't have an Instagram." And Bell says, "Wow, Sky, you're poet too. Amazing poem. Thanks for sharing with us." Yeah, I read it out and I stuffed up the last line. I'm sorry. Maybe I should read it again. Adam says, "I'm a poet also, by the way." Awesome, Adam. There's a lot of poets here in the room tonight. Sky says, "Thank you, Bells." Adam says, "I've been through some tough times and it feels like a year since I had this encounter afterwards. You just want to sleep all the time. And my way of dealing with it." Yeah, I did that, mate. I slept. I was like bedridden for like almost 6 months, and wasn't nice. It wasn't nice at all. Like I was in a lot of pain, and there were some times where I was able to just relax, but there was a lot of times where I was just lying in bed in agony, and it's not nice, is it? Um, so yeah, you've been through some tough times, Adams. Sorry to hear that, mate. I hope you're doing better now. You know, Sky says, "Awesome" to Adam. Adam, wow, another poet. Lots of us fellow poets in the room tonight. It's from Red Rose. Adam says, "Most of my poems don't rhyme though." That's okay. Like, there's no rules, Adam. There's no rules with poetry. Like, I make my poems rhyme sometimes. Sometimes they don't rhyme at all. And I make up the way they rhyme. I choose it. You know, you're the writer. You've got the right to choose how it all works. Sky says, "Thanks, baby steak." Red Rose says, "Sky, yes, I see. I do mail out handwritten poems to others who ask for them. If you would like one from me to email you to one of my poems, you can send me your email and mailing address." Adam, that is perfectly wonderful, as none of my poems rhyme either. Yeah, they don't have to rhyme. Like, the beauty of poetry. Actually, I've got it. I've got in here somewhere. I could look it up in here. I've got actual. These are the poems I didn't read out last time when I did my poetry thing. So I could start reading some more. Turn the page, crease, then put pen to paper. Inspiration waits for when glare is blindness. Hope has a friend, consumed by distraction, toiling away till the stream becomes oceans. The end does not need to be bitter. When one does not work, find another. So that only has like a little bit of rhyme, a little bit rhymed. Where is my motivation? Have you seen it? I lost it somewhere. Without it, there is no invocation. Sit and weep invisible tears. I cannot cry. The hole is deep and full of fears, wondering why. The road is steep and I can't see the sky, for the clouds they creep, missing the cheers, where fears die and notions seep. See, that one's an example of like rhyming, but they don't have to rhyme. Desperation waits like a storm that is late. The storm of nothing leaves a trail in its wake. Breath of shallow packets steals air while murmuring heartbeats, taking blood from here to there. Walking about with foreknowledge, speaking out alone, sharing with a discerning base tales of what is there before, with a pack and a camera to carry and capture, to edit when it gets home. Breathe in and out without a pause, marks a sigh so slight. Breathe out, then in, with thought and pause, searching for what is right. I left the page blank to see what it would say. Then the words burst like summer rain drenching, changing the afternoon. I did not like what they said, so I turned the page. The words that hurt, stricken, remain for the new page to reframe. It hurts so. Why still do it? There is no need. When it hurts more than it heals, try to say no. If it's not for greed, what is it in store? Is it what you emit? My motivation is lost. I want it found. The search is draining, and I am not looking too hard. While I'm looking, I find a gem worth nothing. I still keep it. When you force it, it does not work. When you ease it, it goes where it wants. When you leave it, it goes nowhere. When you fear it, it grows. Don't waste a page. Bad poems are not lost. Some are practice. Others start good, then taper off. Then there is inspiration. The words just flow. When they don't, force them out. Eventually you find something worth reading. To talk of loss is to try start again. To talk of loss is to try understand it. When you can't cry tears, cry words. To ease the pain by knowing what it is. Maybe then joy can emerge. To smile again, while laughter still foreign. To ease the pain, that wretched beast. Hang on to each line, every word. It can go either way, good or bad. Good can be better, bad can get worse. A lot of these poems are actually about poetry itself, writing poems. You have heard this before, but I wish I could fly like a bird, riding the updrafts, soaring to a great height, looking down over the land. You would all look like tiny ants. I could get close to the clouds. From up there and with my eyes, the earth looks very different. I can see the field lines, invisible to you, so I won't get lost. Everything is everything is different when you're a bird, but that is just a wish. At least I can dream it. By reading this, you can imagine it. That one got wrecked because I read it wrong. This is awesome. This is a poem I wanted to read, right? So this is all about writing. This is all about writing words and poems. The blank page is a welcome sight when you have something to say. Words flow like water, one after the other, gathering pace and intensity, not knowing where it will go. That is the fun. Like planting a seed. Hey, Dad. Do you want me to sort out dinner for her? But you can go to bed and I can do both of those things if you want. Okay. I can do that for you. Yep. Just give me 5 minutes and I'll have that done. No, I don't need extra light. No, that's fine. All right. All right. No worries. See you, Dad. That was Dad. So I'll start the poem again. So I've got to go do some stuff for Mum and Dad in a couple of minutes. But look, I'll read this poem, and I was right into it. So, and then the phone rang. I had to answer it. The blank page is a welcome sight when you have something to say. Words flow like water, one after the other, gathering pace and intensity, not knowing where it will go. That is the fun. Like planting a seed, not knowing what tree it will grow into. You get to watch it grow. Nurture it with water and light. If the soil is good, your tree will be strong. When it has more pages, then, like a garden, it requires more planning. Cross out bad lines like pulling the weeds. Enjoy watching it grow and thrive. When the page is blank and terrifying, don't give up. Add some salt and pepper. Keep stirring with enough heat. Add ingredients you have around. Don't forget to use what is about to spoil. Remember, the bland can be made interesting. By the shapes you cut them and the order you cook them. Make it different to the recipe. The terror becomes the intrigue of how it will turn out. The taste will surprise you. With the changes you made, by all means, share it. Have a bowl for yourself. That one's like about writing poetry or writing and comparing it to gardening and cooking. So yeah, they were poems I was going to read out another time, but I think it's awesome seeing the hearts flying. But that was in response to what Adam was saying. Like those poems I read out, like a lot of those didn't rhyme. You see how I even was saying in one of them, like they don't have to rhyme. Sky says, nice, Luke. Thank you. Sky says, I'm heading off. Thanks, everyone. Thanks again. You're all been awesome. Thank you, Sky. You've been awesome as well. Red Rose says, Sky, good night. Amber Bell says, take care, Sky. Sky says, I'll get Insta and I'll catch up, Red Rose. Sky says, bye, Amber Bells. Red Rose says, Sky, yay, wow, I'm excited. Red Rose says, Luke, your poetry is so fabulous. Thank you, Red Rose. Red Rose says, Luke, thank you so much for reading us your poems tonight. That's awesome. Red Rose says, Sky with the hugs. And then Red Rose says, I've enjoyed visiting with you all tonight. Send each and everyone so much love and light. M Bells, thank you, Luke. I think it's probably a good time. I've got to go do some stuff for Mum and Dad, so I'll end the stream. And it's been a really amazing night tonight. We've had a really good chat. And tonight's been one of those ones, like we talk about all different stuff. Emma Bell says, thank you so much, Red Rose. Wish you the same. Yeah, like we talk about all different stuff. And tonight we really talked about, I started off tonight talking about my year of growth and recovery. And so it meant that we all talked about that as well. Everyone was talking about difficult stuff. We had some very deep personal people talking about their own personal stuff, and it was good to let that stuff out and share it and have people help each other with it. And so it's been really amazing. I've appreciated everyone tonight, and it's been, like I said, this is a year and anniversary of a life crisis I went through, and where I am now is an amazing place. So I'm so grateful and fortunate and thankful for getting to where I am now. And I know I've got a lot of work to do. And, I'll keep doing these live streams because we have this nice, friendly community of people who are all sharing their own personal things they're going through in their life. And we can do that in a safe, friendly way. And YouTube is allowing that to happen. So, we don't have to deal with everyone who's ever joined has been nice here. It's been amazing. It's like we've all met for a reason, type thing. This guy says, I have to ask, what motivation got you going again, Luke? Well, that's a difficult question, and I actually wrote poems about that. One of the poems I think I read tonight was, "Where is my motivation?" Yeah, writing poems, writing stuff, that helped me. Responsibility as well, like, my mother's not well, so I have to be there for her. So that gave me a reason to snap out of it, type thing. But it didn't actually, like, I was still having troubles with motivation. My motivation was taken from me as well. So it was brought down to as low as possible. And then it bit by bit, that's a good question, and it's a difficult one. I think I searched for motivation, and I focused on it. So I was aware that I was aware that I had no motivation and that I was bedridden, and that I needed to find a way out of that. So I had a goal to become motivated. It still took months and months to actually, and I'm still not at that point yet. I'm not jumping out of bed in the morning, I'm not like going for walks every day. I'm only just managing to get by. So, but even with just managing to get by, I'm still achieving things creatively. So keeping doing, like, some of these things I wrote in this book, I wrote with, like, with a torch, lying in bed, writing. So that was motivation, like, holding on to the smallest amount of hope was was my motivation. And then eventually I got a little bit more, and then having support, it's good having support, but also moving on. Like, so I realized I could actually start doing things again. Like, I still don't have the motivation yet that I want. I wish I was much more motivated. You know, that's why I'm not playing guitar. That's why I'm not, I'm not doing the things I want to do. I try and go see the sunset two days a week, and I haven't seen it for 3 weeks now. So I set myself goals, and I try and achieve that. So now this week I'm motivated that this next week I'm going to see the sunset as many days as I can, maybe even sunrise. So it's not easy, and it's easy to be demotivated. So no, that's a good Sky. That's all right. I had to come back and ask you. So I hope you have support with your mum. I do. Oh, you're from Aussie as well. Awesome. Thanks for your honest reply. Yeah, it's not easy. Hey, like motivation, and in fact, yeah, that's one of the biggest problems, motivation. And I lost it, and it took me so long to get it back. And even though I've got it back, I only have a small portion of it back. I don't have the whole. When I used to be like highly functioning, I used to like be busy doing stuff all the time, and none of that's happening. I'm still fighting to get my motivation. Excuse me. I'm still fighting to have my motivation. But I'll get there. And you'll get there too. Just something that keeps you through the difficult times, and then build on that. It's not easy. It's not easy. My current motivation is a pragmatic motivation. So I know that I'm going to get to where I want to go, and it's going to take me a year or two. And I know that the next few months I don't have to hurry. I don't have to push myself, and I'll eventually get more motivated. I used to go and watch the sunset and play guitar every day, and go up the mountain and watch the moon and listen to the night animals. And I used to go and make music, take up my amplifier and record making noise music and stuff. I used to do all this stuff. I was motivated for that, but I don't have any of that now. So I'm at it a little bit now. So what I found my motivation by searching for it, asking for it, and I wrote poems about it. Lots of poems about where's my motivation. I want to find it, and where is it? It's lost. and I wrote lots of poems about being lost and stuck and wanting to be found again. And eventually, I gained enough strength that I can now look back, and I've got all these poems that I've written about this stuff, and they actually mean something. So it's like I found my motivation by searching for it. So you can't, like, especially when it's taken away from you. Motivation often gets taken away from you. So when you have when you feel listless or lost or helpless or forgotten, you've got to look for it and ask for it and wish for it, and then hopefully by keep doing that, eventually it appears. And even when it appears, it's not going to be this like instant thing. It's going to be only a small amount, and you have to keep building on it slowly. And that's what's happened to me. Like it little bit by little bit, and then now I'm excited because I have all this opportunity. But all these opportunities that have happened to me only happened because I was looking for opportunity, and then they were there, and now I have to actually take the opportunity and do the work. So I've got all this work I have to do now. So I'm doing little short courses, and I'm writing a business plan, and I'm working out how I can make this thing happen. So in a year, I'll be doing what I want to do. So I want to take people bushwalking and watching sunsets and teaching them mindfulness. And I've got I've got a lot of work to actually make that happen, because we got insurance, licenses, legalities, all this stuff just to do it. And so I got to that point, and to where I am now. I've got motivation now. I do. Even though where I am now is still slow, it's not like fast. Eventually, when I get healthy again physically, like, things will be much better. But when you're really lost and you got nothing, you feel like there's nothing. Like I was saying, I was like writing poetry with a torchlight and a pen, lying in my bed in the dark with a torchlight. That was that was me finding hope and motivation. And then eventually, that's where these poems come from that I was just reading. So some of them were written like that. So it came from being in the worst place and not giving up, and I don't know, searching for it, looking for it, asking for it. Where is my motivation? Scream, where is my motivation? Yell out, because it's once it's taken from you or it's lost, it's the hardest thing to get back. And once you take those first few steps, it's easy to fall back again. It's so hard. Like my biggest fear is I've lost my physical health, and like I used to be very physically active, and just to get moving again in that way is a difficult thing. So I still have problems with motivation. So what I'm doing is I give myself goals. So um, like I say, 2 days a week, I go see the sunset. And if I don't get to see it 2 days a week, one day a week's okay. But if I miss out for the whole week because of being trauma and pain and depression and stuff, I don't get upset at myself. I just go, well, okay, start again. Next week, I will try and go back, but I still have a goal of being 2 days a week. I'm losing my voice. I've been talking for like almost 4 hours. But that's a really good question, Sky. Thanks for asking. I'm honored to be able to share what worked for me. Red Rose says, I'm going to make a new Instagram reel in a minute where I will add one of your sunset photos you've taken recently. That's a good one. I feel you. Sato. I feel for you because I relate to your feelings. Thank you. Well, that's it. And I feel for you as well because I understand you understand my feelings. So you know what it's like. Red Rose says, hey, Questo. Sky says, thanks, Luke. This is really helpful. Thank you. That's awesome. It's good to hear. You know, journaling, for me, journaling is a good start. Writing stuff in a book, thoughts, feelings. You know, if you're angry, you're happy. Well, it's usually not when you're happy, but usually angry or sad or writing things down. And if you are happy, that's awesome. Write the happy things down. And that helps build and then you can always go back to your book and go back to it. So this book I can go back to and go, yeah, I remember that. You know, like this was like the last 9 months. Red Rose says, Luke, did you see Sky's nature poem? So beautiful. I'm reading it, crying right now. I think I read it earlier. I'm scrolling up. Jagged high, distant low, valleys of sky in the middle, chapters and chapters of conscious thought. Day brings night, the moon watches us. Flesh moves, ink and pen. Twinkling threads will always be. That's beautiful. Sky says, yeah, I'm in Queensland. I'm in Brisbane. Red Rose says, Sky, I'm in Louisiana, USA. Sky says, wow, Red Rose. Sky says I'm gonna have to come to Louisiana someday. Awesome. There you go. Sky says I'm partial, but Louisiana is truly fabulous in my personal opinion. Been a great night. That's it. Like this, journaling, writing. You're a poet yourself, Sky. So keep doing that. You know, this helped me get through the most difficult times of this year. Writing things down in this book. Sometimes they were like really painful things. Here's a good one. I read this one, I think, in another stream. Thoughts. As the thought enters the mind, stop it, contain it, let it breathe, let it give it space, and by stepping back before you pay it any attention. See if the thought deserves you. Is it any good? Is it worth the worry it brings? While it is contained, decide to let it in or to shut it out. If it stays, you take it on. If it goes, you pay nothing. So yeah, it's good flipping through. And then I've got this one, which I started recently. I've got like more poems. Oh, you're Sunny Coast guy. Awesome. Yeah, not far at all. Red Rose says, yeah, Luke, it's similar to many of my moon poems, huh? Yeah, very similar. Oh, look, tonight's been awesome. It's been great for me to be able to share this. Like I said, it's 7:36 now, so it's like literally a year ago today I went through life crisis, and now I've gone through transformation, a whole new me, and there's a future. I can see the future. I've gone through the pain of no motivation, like what Sky was talking about. Zero motivation, couldn't get out of bed, and couldn't do anything, and then slowly built up over time. Cheers heaps, everyone, says Sky. It's been awesome tonight. With the hearts there. We're we're going to end the stream in the next few minutes. It's really been therapeutic and cathartic and loving. A lot of love tonight, and it's good to know that we've got good times ahead. Really, like there's always going to be difficult times, but we can look forward to the good times and make the this is the thing I've found is like make the present moment, appreciate the present moment, even if it's difficult. And that's one thing, and this goes back to what Sky was asking about with motivation, is that I was present in those most difficult moments through the pain and stagnation, and that allowed me to appreciate where I was and also know that I wanted to move on from where I was, even though I knew it wasn't going to happen straight away. It was going to happen sometime in the future. It allowed me to appreciate the struggle. So I've had a really good night tonight, and someone just sent me an email. I just heard my tablet go beep beep. And it was funny. I had my dad call on the phone before, where I was like, "Hey, Dad, MJG's here. Oh, you've been here for a while, man. Legend by Luke Red Sky Bells. MJG saying good night to me, to Red Rose, to Sky and M Bells. M Bells is like, oh hey MJG. I'm gonna do my Sunday stream as usual on Sunday. So anyone who's around on Sunday night, Australian time, like the regular time I usually stream. I saw MJG, like we're friends on Instagram now. So like that's your artwork, dude. Like that's some cool stuff. I like your artwork. Sky says, hope to catch up again. Yeah, Sky, I'll be back on Sunday. Sunday night, 6 p.m. I usually do a stream. So I'll see you then. MJG says, yeah, see you all next time. Red Rose says, so excited. That's awesome. MJG's got the thumbs up. What time Sunday? I'm not regular yet. Yeah, it's Sunday, 6 p.m. like East Coast, Australia. So Sunday night, 6 p.m. Sky. I'll do it if you subscribe. You'll see, like I'll set it up so you'll see it. It's like scheduled. Oh, Europe time. Yeah. Wait. Oh, it's the same one as normal. So like I'll look it up now. MJG. It'll be 10 a.m. on Sunday. It'll be 6 p.m. Sunday night, and it'll be 10 a.m. Sunday for you. MJG. Awesome. Okie dokie. That's awesome. Thanks everyone. Thanks for all the love tonight. It's been great. Like, it's been great for me to like. This has been like this is the end of one bad year to a start. Like, well, it's been a year since I went through trouble, and this has been a great change in me, and I've healed and recovered from so many things. So it's I appreciate everyone's support, and the fact that we can also have this space here where we just can have these conversations and talk about personal things and share with each other. It's pretty special. So yeah, that's it. See you then, everyone. Thanks, everyone. I'm gonna any second now. I'm gonna click the button and it's gonna end. I might hit the I'll hit the love heart thing for a bit. Send some few love hearts into the sky. There we go. You hear the clicking sounds. That's it. Awesome. Alrighty. We'll see you Sunday night or Sunday, wherever you are. Much love to everyone.